well, it's been in the news for some time now, the revenue allocation matter, wherein so many comments have been made, perhaps behind the scenes, and that's on the fore here today. Ahmed Sule joins us now. He's a National Secretary General of Arewa Youth Forum. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, I do know you must have read about this so much ever since the Niger State Governor and then Chair of Non-Governors Forum spoke about the revision formula, the revenue sharing formula, and then it raised a lot of controversy, lots of opinion, different perspectives. From what you read, what's your understanding of what you read?
Well, the whole picture that comes out to mind is that it's okay if governors get back to their forums every time and routinely discuss what affects them. But it is supposed to affect the people. And oftentimes when they come out from those meetings, you find out what they are talking about is not what you see on the ground. For as far as we are concerned, particularly from my own angle, from the Arewa Youth Forum's point of view, we want to see any governor, whether it is from the north or from the south or from the east, as far as it's a Nigerian governor or a Nigeria's mandate holder, should have the interest of the people. Whatever it is that his tax obtains, the people will be reached.
So where does this come and stand?
So you see, when they talk about sharing this revenue or whatever, we in the north have not seen it on the ground. All the revenue allocations that come to them in the past is not registered in the people's lives.
Really?
Never. Because today if you go back to the north, forget the urban cities. That's not where the people are. The rural cities, the rural places, or the towns and the villages, you can as well say it is 1960. So it is something else. So where is the money going to go? What has the money been used for in the past?
You know, fantastic question there. But again, who should that question be directed at? Is it the federal government or those who are supposedly
we are now holding the governors,
the governors
for that question, because it's okay for them to ask. So far it is their right to ask. We are officers of the state and the people, and we want this so that we can do this and that. But from our own perspective, that's why I say from our own perspective, we want to know, we want to see some justification for that demand.
You know, listening to Governor Babangida Aliyu, he did admit that in many areas the north was poor. I mean, in terms of education, in terms of health,
yes,
you know, all the indices that were in the negative for the north. And he says that this is because of not enough money coming to the state. Do you agree with that point?
I don't. The little that they got did not go down anywhere. Whoever it is who gets that money at all times only manage to take care of themselves and their immediate families and their friends and their businesses. They live with the neighbors who are poor. You will see that in the north, the ordinary bathroom slippers that you cannot afford to step further than the frontage of your house are the kind of shoes that the ordinary Nigerians that we talk about go to their weddings, to the places that you would not dream of wearing those shoes. Now this is the story we are talking about. You eat from the Mr. Biggs, your kids go here and there, they're looking all, what do you call it, ajabota kind of life, and the immediate neighbor out there is almost walking barefooted. So why should this officer tell me that he is not aware of the difference in the standards of life between these two classes of people?
You know, the revenue issue now accrued to states. This is just not the first time we're getting to hear that some people haven't even felt it when it comes to being used justifiably. The way it is now, sorry, a moment here, you know, Arewa Youth Forum, different groups in the north, haven't they been having meetings with governors in the past till this moment with regards to effectively using this for development in their constituencies?
Well, to tell you the latest, I think about December last year, the Arewa Consultative Forum, for example, that which is the umbrella body for all the northern who is whose, whether past presidents, governor, whatever, had their own peace unity conference, if you can remember, just a while back. What happened? We from the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum buckled up and went up hoping that we will have a slot to talk. But to our dismay, they nearly almost forgot that there are people they invited. In the end, we started hearing we were just observing, we are supposed to observe. Who is talking? The emirs, the senators, the governors, and all they talked about was far away from the facts or the issues that were supposed to be talked about. At that point, the Boko Haram thing was the hot thing on the table. Talk about it. Everybody was shying away from it. And everybody was almost turning the whole thing into a political campaign thing. So what we are talking about here is, will they, after succeeding to get those allocations improved in their favor, will they be able to go to ground and work? Because what you say work, they don't allow ideas to come in from the so-called people who live around them, who have ideas. They don't interact, they don't consult. So you don't have factories, you don't have anything walking around.
But some of them say, the Niger State governor, for instance, that he states pays a huge wage bill of salaries. And so if you get a little over 4 billion and you pay a little over 4 billion in salaries, they say, what is left for development? These are some of the arguments out there.
Well, suppose it's his own company. Let's say that state government is his own company. So should he employ more than he can pay for him to get the jobs done? Can he get the best hands, as few as he can, so that they can do the job?
So that's another problem. Oh. I think that, you know, some state, even the federal government finds itself in a dilemma in terms of, you know, how they say that government is too big. We have too many parastatals duplicating themselves, doing exactly the same thing. But in the same vein or in the same breath, you find out that these are the parastatals that employ, you know, majority of Nigerians. It is Nigerians that are employed here. If we are to merge these parastatals or even cut down the size of governments, as you've rightly suggested, get the number of hands that can actually do the work to do the work, it will leave a host of other people on the streets, thereby shooting up unemployment figures.
Because there are no opportunities for them to live a life by themselves. They cannot have the opportunity to operate on their own. You don't have to be in government. Government can live on you by you working on your own, independently. But you are choked off. For example, if you want the government to approve documents for you so that you set up a company, the kind of things you go through makes you throw up.
You know, yesterday we talked while we were going to ask you to come over, and we were talking about how difficult sometimes it is to reach out to some people in the north. And going through the interview, which was conducted by a daily, specifically on the 4th of March, which Dr. Junaid Mohammed granted, a whole lot of issues were raised. And one was not inviting the north to the national summit that was held here in Lagos. Even the former governor, Balarabe Musa, was there. He did say, when he wasn't representing the people. Well, we try to marry that with what happened when the ACF, Arewa Consultative Forum, met, and you said they did not even listen to the youth and other bodies that were there. Were you also invited to that national summit group?
We were not invited.
Did anyone reach out to you?
Nobody.
Would you have loved to be there?
Of course. Because if you were there, even if you don't have anything to give in there, you will listen to what ideas that are flowing.
So if you had a chance to really have time to really speak in a place like that, or now, what would you be saying concerning the development of the North?
No, obviously, it is always going to be in the negative, because I am a full product of the North. I'm a Fulani Hausa, and I have nothing to regret. But the fact still remains, I know the shots that has come my way, because I didn't live much in the North, but I feel we've been taken for a ride by our leaders. That remains a fact. Until these leaders make a U-turn on their own mindsets, because it's all about the mindsets. They are not prepared to let people realize themselves, their potentials. We have potentials all over this country. And the North too is not worse off. Well, it is when you give a person an opportunity that you see what he's made of. The few that you see running around, they maintain that circle within themselves at their own levels, suppressing the others. But I can assure you, it is not going to be too far when things will change for the better, because the youth, particularly the youth, are going to take the bulls by the horns in the North.
But the impression some people have is that they consult the youth when they come up with these policies. In fact, we've even read, I'm not sure where they even say ACF also supports this call by governors. But now you say no.
Why should I tell you what is not on ground? ACF supports or not support, they know who they are fooling. But they are not fooling the present generation who have come of age in the North. The fact is that things have gone wrong for too long, and it's not going to take long. Because if we look back a few months back, the kind of mayhem that went in the North, why don't you ask yourself, why is this not like a bushfire burning in the North, not crossing to the South? Why is this border kept? Because there's an indictment on the leadership in the North by the people. They are telling them in so few a word that, watch out, we are coming after you, because you have done us so much wrong and we cannot take it any longer.
Do you fear for your generation? I mean, do you fear for the generation of youths coming up? I mean, if we're to go by the indices that, Governor Lee was talking about, and the fact that the education indices in particular is particularly poor, are you afraid that if truly the youths overtake the leaders or their leaders,
okay,
what sort of government can they run with little or no education at their disposal?
That is not to say that there is no capable hands in the North. It is impossible. You and I know that in the North we still have generations, present generations who can meet up with whatever it is you think you can do across the divide. But what we're talking about, the general, the broad educational opportunities and whatever, it's been denied. But when you are left with a situation of that nature, if the North goes down, the South goes down too. So it's not a case of the South looking over the fence and saying the North is good. No. When that crumbles, it's just like saying if Nigeria buckles, Africa buckles. It's no longer a case of Nigeria buckling alone. It's Africa going down. So we should forget about this the South-North thing. As far as I'm concerned, I can give you a little bit. I lived in England for about 7 years. I did not just sleep. I saw democracy working. I involved myself in it. I worked with Nelson Mandela's free Nelson Mandela even in the 70s. Now, you can't tell me I don't have something to give. The other side of the coin is that I did not come out to say I want to make money. If I wanted to make money, I would have gone the way of making money. But the issue is I get hurt. The bane of why my organization, Arewa Youth Forum, came up was to see where I can involve myself in changing things. So, governors forum, senators forum, or whatever summit, Nigeria has to come together. Because right now, whether Nigeria breaks or not, it is a problem for all of us.
So what would you prefer happen in Nigeria today?
In what terms?
Yeah, well, we'll talk about unity, we'll talk about development, because now, for the first time, you just hit it and you said, we should stop talking about regions and look towards developing the country as a whole.
Yeah, that's mindset. Regional understanding in the mindset. But the other side of the understanding I want people to understand is that there's got to be that regional development which is going back to the First Republic. That was a very promising potential setup. The people who now coined, for example, unity in diversity, did not just fancy the word. There's a lot of things embedded in it.
Comment on this also, if you will, because I mean, I've heard a lot of young people in this country across the divide talk about the fact that there's this seemingly mutual suspicion. I don't know where some of those come from, but isn't it about time that young people in this country just look beyond whatever religious, ethnic sentiments they have and pull together? Because most times, just as you've highlighted, it could all be politics that they bring in between and just divide the people.
It has been politics. I'll give you a scenario. Right now, not far away, let a southerner and a northerner cross across to Benin Republic. You will think they are twins from the same mother and the same father. The moment they cross into the Nigerian border, the Yoruba man or the Igbo man or Hausa man will start looking at the bus driver or the taxi driver that is of his own kin. It is the mindset that the elders tuned us into, and we have to get out of that.
Well, we've already been wound up. Just quickly, if your answer to this, do you think that the revenue allocation formula, as it is presently, is justifiable? Is fair?
No, it's fair as far as whoever gets what he gets, do the job that he's expected to do with it. But those who are agitating for more must be seen to be doing justice to whatever it is they will get. And they should allow new ideas to flow.